Hello, and welcome to the Layer of Secrets podcast by two 40-something geek dads. But actually, two middle-aged geek dads. Unfortunately, we're both no longer 40s. But welcome to our first session of Scum and Villainy Actual play. So we're getting things started here. We'll see how it goes. First off, Scum and Villainy is a game about heists in space, basically. And I'm going to go around our lovely virtual table and have everyone introduce themselves. So, Ken.
I'm Ken Nyquist. Those of you who listen to the podcast know who I am. Hopefully, I'm playing Ordwell Starcrasher Drake, pilot. He is a daredevil, thrill seeker, pleasure seeker. Famous quote: "Yeah, I can fly that. What do you mean? Erg beasts can't fly. Trust me, they can fly." Hold my beer.
So, Chris, one of our two.
Which one? Well, I guess I'm in the hot seat now.
You're in the hot
Chris
seat now.
Johnson. I will be playing the muscle of the group, an Urbot known as JA66-3R or Jagger. And the less I tell you about Jagger up front, the better off you'll be.
All right, Chris Miller.
Hi, I'm Chris Miller. I will be playing the Stitch of the group, so the Doctor. I am playing James Watson, also known as Doc or Professor. He's definitely not Stephen Franklin from Babylon 5. I don't know why you would say that. Just looking forward to getting into it.
All right, Aaron.
I am Erin Moore, and I am playing a scoundrel. Her name is Polaris Pava, and she has an alias of Karma. She was orphaned by her mother, who was in the syndicate, and they came and found her and decided to raise her within their organization. And so she is pretty much good at one kind of thing. Crime. That's crime. She's
Okay.
really
All right. You left that pretty open-ended there.
Thank you for the clarification.
Josh.
crime.
Hi, I'm Joshua Starr. I am playing the mechanic of the group. His name is Dyson Thane. Alias is Twitch. He is a guy that hears voices because he's done so many drugs. That's about the best synopsis I can give for him.
All right. And here's voices from The Way, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, not just voices. Or so we think.
Yeah.
And for those of you out there, last thing before we get started is we're all fairly new to Scum and Villainy, so we will get rules wrong, and that's okay because we're going to have fun. Kicking us off, I'm going to kick us off a little differently from normal Scum and Villainy. You are all on board the Stardancer, and you have been hired to pick up a piece of cargo from inside the Ashtari cloud, if I recall that's the right one. It is in the Rim, in the Rin system. The Ashtari cloud is the remains of some sort of progenitor, not progenitor, I can't remember what the other term was for it, precursor ship, suffered a mishap here and has generated an in-system nebula. So it's pretty big. That's a pretty big mishap. Normal propulsion through this nebula is minimal, and nav systems are very dodgy. So, however, there is a fairly good set of pirates in here who have learned to navigate and fly through the cloud without issue. So that's there's a fairly big pirate contingent there, and you've been hired by an Abra Drake. He is an occult collector, and he has asked you all and is willing to pay you quite handsomely to pick up a crate and deliver it back with minimal questions asked and no hegemonic entanglements. So that is the basics of things. And just as a reminder, we get to pick how you approach things. But if you guys want to do some information gathering or ask me questions before we get into things, that is also possible. I'll shut up now.
I guess my first question is, where are we picking up the crate from? That seems pretty basic.
You have a set of coordinates inside of the Ashtari cloud.
Ah, okay. So it's just a location. We don't know much.
Right. He says that there's a beacon on it, and that you will be picking it up from inside the Ashtari cloud.
Okay, so it's just we're flying in there and have to grab it.
Yes, and return it.
Okay.
Without it being scanned or taken from you by authorities.
Easy money. What could
Do we have
possibly
any
go
smuggling
wrong?
compartments?
I mean, nothing can go wrong.
Oh, that
And
is
yes,
a very, very long list.
remember your crew has a reputation of the strange, which is why this occult collector has, which is why Abra Drake has come to have you do this. And yes, you do have smuggling compartments as part of your cargo hold. And your hull is of a sufficient quality that if you needed to smuggle people in it, you could.
Okay. Well, I think we just need a little bit of cover cargo, and we're off to go. We're ready.
So right now, I was envisioning that you were already on your way to the Ashtari cloud, but we can do small flashbacks to any questions or things you might need to pick up, just like however you wanted. Yep. Yes, Ken.
All right. So I'm just trying to for those of you playing along at home, or at least watching us, this is the part where we remember what we're supposed to do. So we have to do an engagement roll, right?
Yes.
Or are we not there yet? So we have to pick what it is we're trying to do. Like, so we're saying infiltration. We're going to fly casual and like try and sneak from like planetoid to planetoid to get to where we need to be. As opposed to assault, we're flying straight at them. Right. No subtlety.
Yeah, you have two choices right now. Is you can try if you had questions or wanted to gather more information, that's what we were doing. But then at the end of all of that, we would definitely need to be making that engagement roll.
Gotcha. Cool. So we're leading up to the engagement roll.
We're leading up to the engagement roll. Correct.
Have we been told whether or not we can expect, let's say, resistance or trouble on the way there?
There should Abra Drake. No, there shouldn't be. They said that they would drop it at these coordinates, and he's given you. Here's the he's a very nervous guy. He's got a frequency for a beacon that you can use that will get you to the crate that's to be picked up. And as far as he knows, it's in an area that most people don't go. And yeah, no one else is after it that he knows.
As far as we know.
Okay. Right.
So likely inhabitants of the nebula would be pirates, rabid space dogs.
Can you mute?
And
rabid space dogs.
Legion, yes, rabid space dogs. It's a thing. Totally a thing. But we could have the entanglements we're going to run up to is anybody who just also happens to be skulking around the nebula, but primarily.
I mean, the nebula is the home of a fairly large contingent of pirates, so that is a possibility.
Gotcha.
We'll load up on sutures and bandages and things.
Oh, thank you. This is the thing we forgot about when we did our one-shot testing game, which is everybody picks your loadout for the game. So
just the basic number, not what you're actually carrying, but just a
correct.
Number, right?
Yeah, so you're going to be light, medium, or heavy. Light you can pass as like a everyday normal person. Medium, it's like, why is that guy, carrying a gun around, or he's kind of heavily armed or armored, but could possibly pass. And then a heavy loadout is there's a person in power armor walking down the street. Why is that? People are going to run and such. So, those are the descriptions of each of the loadouts, but yeah, you don't pick what you actually have until you actually need them.
Should we
David,
tell you the loadout?
I mean, I went with a medium loadout, but I'm a doctor, so there ain't no power armor going on. There's bags and maybe a lab coat.
Right.
And I don't mind that. So
okay. Yeah, I trust you all. So just mark whatever loadout you guys have, and just remember. All right. So if there aren't any other questions, why don't we pick the engagement role, or rather the planning portion, the whatever they call it. What is it they call it?
The approach.
The approach. Thank you.
The approach.
So assault, deception, infiltration, mystic, social, and transport.
So our ship doesn't have any guns, so I don't recommend assaulting.
Transport ship don't have no guns on it. Yeah.
It seems like transport is like the most straightforward option. Why are we here? We're here to pick up a thing. Where are you going? We're taking the thing home, right? Deception seems to me like lure, trick, or manipulate. That's not. I don't think we're doing that because like we don't really know who we're up against. Infiltration, trespass unseen. To me, that's like you're flying through the Matara Nebula and you're like going through the different clouds and like trying to like be all subtle, like as opposed to like transport. We're probably just like space truckers. Yep, going that way. Questions?
Yeah.
We don't got answers.
Yeah, I would agree with that. With the like transport, you're like you're carrying people or cargo through danger, but like it's fairly straightforward. So I mean, you could pick that. I'm having a little trouble understanding what transport actually means as an approach in this situation. Like it's like, why not just pick it?
Yeah, well, I think to me, I think it's like just truly the approach. So it says like detail the route and the means. So I mean, obviously our means of the ship, but like the route is we're not trying to be subtle. We're just going straight in, right? Like we're not, doing a wing by like a particular space station or something. Whereas infiltration, like we are very purposely avoiding everybody else.
Yeah. So that's the detail. So like if you choose transport, like I need to know, are you avoiding normal shipping lanes, or other things like that? And then there's the ways to get in and out of I can't remember what they're called in the space lanes, but they're the lanes that you're able to travel faster than light with your jump drives. Yeah. There's the warp gate, which are physical things that go between the systems, but the flow of those warp tunnels can be
I know it.
Entered and exit within a system so we don't spend, okay, let's spend a year going from this planet to this planet from a game standpoint.
To your point, infiltration, like the point of infiltration seems like we're picking a particular, like more than we would know. Like we're trying to get into a hospital. We're coming in through the garage.
Yeah.
Transport seems pretty straightforward.
Okay. Everybody's okay with transport?
Who's got a better idea?
So what's the route and means? I mean, means is probably Stardancer.
I mean, the route.
is probably just
Like-
most direct possible, right?
Yeah,
I
like,
mean-
are you going to go the most direct possible? Are you going to try and
I mean,
like
unless the
avoid
client-
hegemonic checkpoints or
I think
pirates
as
and
soon
things?
as I think as soon as you say you're trying to avoid stuff, you're at infiltrate. So I would
Kinda
say
what I was
as
thinking
direct
too,
as
but-
possible.
Mhm.
Because there were two kinds of ways, right? Like there's like the established, well mapped ways, and then there's the like pirate, not well known. Maybe you're relying on your mystic or your navigator to
Yep.
like try and find your way back through it. So it seems like
100%.
you could get away with transport being either way. Infiltration to me feels like, as Chris was saying, like we are very purposely doing everything to avoid any entanglements, which kind of seems like the inspiration. Like, not the inspiration, the point of
Infiltration.
this is like we're supposed to avoid
Or
things.
yeah.
But I
I
think
think-
you get away
I
with it
think-
either way. So
The contact wants us to avoid it being scanned, but they can't scan it until we get it. So in terms of
Right.
getting to it, I think we're transport, and maybe we switch to infiltration. Well, it's actually exfiltration at that point once we're on the way out. But I think getting
Yeah.
to it, which is our primary goal, is for now is just
And I-
straight
like-
transport.
And I think most of us being some form of developer or ex-developer, we're overthinking it. So we'll just let's just say transport, and we'll go with it, and we'll just continue on with stuff.
Yep. I have
Yes.
one quick thought, and then I'll shut up.
Uh-huh.
To me, I think the approach that you're taking helps set up how, like, because the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to make the engagement roll. It's going to go good or bad, right?
Yep.
And that's going to, the approach we take is going to help set up the fiction, which is if we're being all sneaky and we do really bad, then we run into like a Legion ship or like the pirates or whatever, and they know we were trying to be sneaky, and that's how they react to us. As
Right.
opposed to if we were like, hey man, we're just space truckers, like maybe they're pulling us over for speeding. Right? Like I think that's where the approach helps come in.
Yep. Yes. Go ahead, Chris.
Transport, please.
Okay.
I say transport.
All right. So
Yeah.
engagement role. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? That's I don't think it's definitely not overly complex, so there's not a minus there. Bold or daring, I think probably not. I mean, you're going to pick up a crate and you're going to come back, right? I mean, you're not going into a heavily fortified military zone and picking up a crate and then sneaking out with it. So,
That we know of.
DoorDash of artifacts.
can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? This would get you an extra die.
Not mine.
I do have an info chant, but I don't know that he would know anything about this particular thing.
That's up to the info chant.
Okay, well, I will contact Aura, an info broker,
Yep.
and see if they know of any hegemonic trolls in the area that we might need to be aware of.
Okay. Let's do like a zero stress flashback here as you've contacted Aura.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember your character name here. Karma.
Laris.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
What you need?
Hi. I'm running around in, which nebula is this that we're going to?
The Ashtari.
Starry Nebula, and I was wondering if you had any beat on any hegemonic patrols in that area.
I mean,
Yeah, for old
not
times.
usually. I mean, they usually steer clear of it. It's mostly pirate controlled. They have a fair number of patrols outside of it because they can't navigate in it very well.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be real careful in there. You know,
I
normal
will.
sensors don't work like they should in there, from what I understand.
Good to know. I have a lot of luck on my side. We'll see how that works out.
Okay.
To talk to you again.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you need anything else?
Nope.
No? Okay.
That was my uptick guy.
All right. Engagement roll. Let's see. There it is. Okay. So you got one extra die. You don't have any major disadvantages that you know of. So let's see how you do. Do you guys want to know what I rolled, or do you want to be surprised? Actually, I'll let you know. You'll find out pretty quick. So yeah, this engagement roll, what it's going to do is will tell all of us how far you've gotten into the plan. Like, have you gotten past the first hurdle, or how well things have been going. Oh, nice. A 6 and a 5. So almost a critical. You're in a controlled position when the action starts. So you have gotten into the Ashtari Nebula. You're in kind of this yellow, cloudy haze that has occasional debris floating around in it. And you have tracked down both the coordinates and the signal. You've had to use a combination of both because, it's like driving in whiteout with no cell signal. So Google Maps thinks you're in the middle of a field. So, you've been almost having to fly by a little bit by touch and a little bit by, did the beep sound stronger or weaker, depending upon where things are. But you do have sight of this oblong rectangular crate. It's kind of it's like a dark metal. There's a couple of blinking lights on the outside, and it looks to be maybe a little more than 2 meters long and about a meter wide and a meter thick.
It's just floating there?
It's just floating there at the coordinates that Mr. Drake told you it would be. It's almost like some other smugglers dropped it off and then got the heck out and waited for you guys to show up.
Easiest payday we've ever had.
What I tell you, we could find this needle in a haystack, no problem. No problem.
As long as the needle's
wish
not
there'd been a
beacon
problem
on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping things would go worse. I mean, this wasn't even challenging.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Let's get it on board first.
So how do we get it on board? Can we depressurize the cargo hold and just back into it, or how does this work?
Sure. I don't know that there's. Let's see. Like,
or do we need to
this
use
is
a sort?
This is a setting that we can make stuff up about. So if you want to have like a grapple, like a magnetic grapple or a grav grapple or whatever that brings stuff in, you can do that. Maybe there's like a low level tractor beam even. Because you have gravity on your ship, so might as well be able to project that gravity and pull it in, like a localized gravity projector. So what do you guys have? Let me throw that back in your court. How high tech?
I think a tractor beam makes sense.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
A mag harpoon. You could sit there and take shots at
That
it.
sounds much more fun.
You
want to go?
Wardwell has wandered back to the back of the shell. He's gone away from the pilot controls, and like he started to put on this really fine spacesuit and like starting to loop up some cable. And he's like, "Wait, there's a tractor beam. What's the fun of the tractor beam?"
We don't have to use it.
Aren't you supposed to be driving?
Yeah.
So the ship flies itself. I fly the ship, but when I'm not flying it, it flies itself. Like,
oh yeah,
who wants to do a space jump?
Doc is clearly egging you on. He's like, "Oh yeah, we don't have to use it. You could throw yourself into the vacuum of space."
You've got the spacesuit on.
Yeah, I mean, you're halfway there.
You're all dressed up. You might as well go to the prom.
Cool. Cool. Right, great. I thought we'd have to wait to get until we got home to do something fun, but this is fantastic.
If you want, I could use the harpoon as a kind of a tether, and we can.
Ooh, there you go. I'll hold on to the harpoon, and then
So you're gonna open up the cargo hold, leap out of the cargo hold to get to the box, and then hook the tether onto it manually.
Yeah, with like the mag
back
harpoon, right? Like just in case something goes wrong,
Okay. All right. Where's everybody else? Aaron, where are you right now?
Nowhere near where it's about to be spaced, but
Okay.
I was actually also wondering if we might take a break. I'm not feeling so hot. I think I need to upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you able to? Are you thinking you're going to be able to come back, or should we write you out for a little bit? Okay.
Write me out.
All right. I hope you feel better.
Right.
I hope you feel better. So, thanks for giving it a shot.
So say we all.
Yep. All right. So our scoundrel is so Karma has gone for a lay down. And so Josh, where is let's see, which character are you again? You're Twitch.
Mechanic.
Where's Twitch?
Yeah. Probably in the cargo hold.
Okay. Watching this
He's
whole thing.
probably getting his spacesuit on right now to come help with the harpooning.
Nice.
So he'll be the one that's kind of pulling you in once you're out there.
Jagger, where are you?
Jagger is definitely in the cargo hold, egging on our pilot, and just reminding you gently, go big or go home. But if you go big and you blow it, we can't go home because you're the one who drives the ship.
Programmed in autopilot. It's all good. It'll get you home.
Why do we even need you here?
Professor.
It's really all the challenging things.
Where's Professor?
So in my head, the med bay is off the cargo hold, kind of like it was in Firefly. You remember?
Yep.
So I am in the med bay getting all the things that you need to treat someone that's been
exposed to vacuum.
Exposed to vacuum. Getting it ready, going, no, yeah, go for it. Let's see how this goes.
All right. So now you are in a controlled position because of your role, which is good because no one's in the cockpit seeing the alert going off in the cockpit. So as Ordwell is being pulled back in, you Ordwell, you're kind of taking in the sights of the nebula, etc., and you see a large black, you would describe it as spider-like ship in the. You're not. I mean, you can't tell how big it is. There's no reference points, so it could be really close in a really small ship, or it could be really far away in a really big ship. But you can't really tell without any sensors. But you see that as you're being pulled in.
Faster! We have company, gentlemen. Somebody want to jump on the sensors or something? And hey, I got this thing. It's great. We should probably stow it, and push it off to the side, and
all right, so
where's our muscles? Kristen, what's your character's name again?
Jagger.
Oh, Jagger. He tosses this to the, imagining the cargo hold is probably 0G, right? You come floating in, I toss it over to you.
I would say at the moment it is, yes. Sure.
Got to get to the pilot seat. We got incoming.
Apparently a ship called the Proximity. I don't understand.
Yeah, I suppose as soon as he starts saying that he sees a ship, Twitch is probably going to book it out of the cargo bay, shedding off the spacesuit as he goes.
Okay.
running away.
Where's he headed
But-
to?
Jagger,
Probably to engineering to get ready to thrust the ship
Spin up some
forward.
drives. Okay.
Yes.
What were you saying, Chris?
I was going to say Jagger will secure the crate, mag clamp or whatever other tech we use to secure this stuff, so that it doesn't get thrown around when we start doing whatever shenanigans are coming up.
Okay. Sounds good.
And we'll stay in the cargo bay for now because it really doesn't have any other post on the ship per se.
Okay. So you kind of strap it down in the cargo bay?
Yep.
Okay. And Ordwell, you're headed back up to the cockpit?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the sensors, fuzzy as they are, show that it is a kind of a black metal ship, and it says unknown designation on your sensors. It's still fairly far away from you, but you can tell that it is from your sensors passively. It is actively scanning this area and has not seen you yet, as far as you could tell.
Punch it, Chewie.
That is totally what I'm doing. Totally what I'm doing. So, everybody, you might want to hold on to something.
So are you punching it to go as fast as possible, or are you going to try and sneak out of here? What do you? It sounds like you're just punching it and just rabbiting.
Well, I don't know. See, the thing is that like the straight line, it's rarely the easy line. So I think I would immediately because we do have the goal of not being spotted, right? And so just being like a bat out of hell or
That would
comet out of the nebula might draw attention, right?
You're pretty sure it would draw attention to you.
So I'm imagining like inside the nebula, you've kind of like got the sort of like the pillars of God style things. Right? You remember the Hubble photos, like the classic big, huge pillars of dust and what have you. And like, okay, guys, I'm gonna hit it. There's gonna be some fancy moving here. Everybody, hold on, and then immediately like it's real subtle, like fly off to the side and like try and get towards one of those things.
Okay.
Chris?
I have a question. We know that the nebula messes with navigation,
Mm-hmm.
so I just really want to know how this is going to mess Ken up. That's
Yeah. Well, so that's going to come in what could happen as a complication for some of these roles. So if you're trying to not be spotted as you're exiting the nebula, do I get that right?
Yeah, so I want to fly as fast as possible, as deftly as possible, and as sneakily as possible, fully realizing that, Ordwell, his nickname is Starcrasher, or his alias is Starcrasher. There's a big reason for that.
Yeah.
But,
And
he
you
totally
guys-
thinks he can pull this off.
Yeah, and you guys have him as your pilot, so...
Yeah. I want to fly so close to the pillars of smoke that I'm trailing the smoke behind our ship, which is going to, hide us a little bit as we're swirling through. And yes.
So I would say you're with your initial engagement role, you're in a controlled situation.
Right.
But I would say, I think you need a role of some sort here. So you're gonna
definitely.
pick what kind of action you want. Like, what do you like? Are you gonna use helm? Are you gonna skulk?
I'm gonna go helm because I'm good at that. I have potency on all speed related roles because I'm an ace pilot as my starting ability for my character. Which
although you're trying to actually understand, you're trying to stealthily go, which I would say you wouldn't necessarily be speeding yet.
I don't know. Given a choice between speed and stealth, I'd err on the side of speed. But
okay.
So I guess I'm trying. So or maybe So I'm trying to. I'm looking in my book, trying to figure out the calculations here. So I guess I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find the right nouns or verbs. Like, I'm trying to be excessive in what I am attempting to accomplish, which is, yes, I could be stealthy. Yes, I could be fast, but I want to be fast and stealthy.
Right.
Which probably moves our position into a more challenging role.
I'm trying to see. I have these rules references, and it's got the action roll with the controlled, risky, desperate. We already know it's going to be controlled, but there's another half of that calculation that is not listed, and I don't remember what it's called. Let's see. Action roll summary. Action roll. Effect. Okay. So the position is controlled. The effect level is going to be I would say it's going to be a standard effect. Just because that's the default. So, all right. So you're going to use helm. So you're going in terms of the balance of speed and stealth. You're going to go for speed over stealth, but you're still trying to be flying as casual as possible. So I would say if you, so as a controlled, you have a possibility of hesitating, that you may be speeding up, but they would be able to see you, and they will be firing on you if they spot you. So that's the risk that you're going to take with this roll. Yep.
I do have a question about the position, because it just seems to me like what Ken is trying to push for is to push us into more of a risky position, which is, and I'll quote from the book here, by default, an action roll is risky. You wouldn't be rolling it if there weren't any risk involved. And he's trying to go fast, and he's trying to go sneaky. So I think that, just to me, that would seem like it pushes. I just want to make it difficult.
I agree. I agree. The reason why I'm saying it's controlled is because that's where you landed. Like, they aren't looking in your direction right now because of the way that your engagement roll landed initially. After this, depending upon how most rolls are risky as most rolls, but in this case, you have managed to come at a location and they have not spotted you yet. They're not looking in your direction yet. And so as he jets off, you are in a controlled position because they don't spot you yet. But
hold on. I know what I'm trying to do. So okay. I was looking through the book. And I'm sorry I'm making this too complicated, guys. I'm trading position for effect.
Sorry, did you say something? I zoned out.
Yeah.
So after all the factors are considered and the GM has announced the effect level, the player may want to trade position for effect or vice versa. So if they're going to make a risky roll with standard effect, the most common scenario, they might instead want to push their luck and make a desperate roll with great effect. So if what you're saying
so
is
you want a risky roll with great effect is the way that it would work.
That's what I was going for.
Okay. All
That's
right.
what I'm suggesting.
Which fits with what Chris with what Chris was saying. So all right. So if they if you succeed, you'll that's good. If you but there is a definite chance that the ship will suffer harm if you do not do well on this.
That's what you pay me the big bucks for.
That's what I was going to say. Like, if you'd wanted us to be safe, you should have gotten a different pilot.
Someone without the name Star Crasher.
Safe is boring. Safe is so boring.
Yeah. So we're at the roll. You're going to use a helm roll, which is with your character is going to give you 2 base dice. And we have the ability to add some dice into that. So do you want... so we have... You could take a devil's bargain, or you could push yourself for an extra die. Someone could help you for an extra die. And then there's a third one, which I always forget. You could use a gambit. And because of our scoundrel, you all have 3 gambits to use on this session.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I'm gonna push myself to start. So I'm sorry. We get 1 die to start, right?
You get your helm
Base
dice,
die.
so that's 2 dice.
So I get 2 dice to start for the helm,
And then if you push yourself, that'll be a third.
which gives me 1 stress.
That'll give you 1 stress. Yep.
Is it 1 stress or 2 stress pushing yourself?
I thought push. Oh, 2 stress. Sorry, you're right.
2
Thank you.
stress. Cool.
I just here to make things difficult for Ken.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
I'm here for.
Not for his character, just Ken himself.
No. I want StarCraft to succeed. I just want it to be difficult for Ken.
Okay. All right. So 2 stress. You're at 3 dice now.
Yes.
Do you think that's enough?
I can assist you if you want.
Dice do you need?
I can assist.
Okay.
And since I'm down here in the mechanic,
engines?
in the engine,
In the engine room?
yeah, with the engines,
Okay.
I could start like diverting power and stuff like that, and I don't know.
Sure.
If he needs some extra handling, I can. I don't know. Put extra oomph in our stabilizers and stuff.
That sounds like an appropriate assist. So that'll be 1 stress for you,
Super techie.
and then an extra die for Ken. So that's 4 dice.
I got you. Let's do this.
Jagger cannot assist because he has wandered into the med bay and is talking to Doc about how weird it is that humans like bleed like all the time. It's
have
like
no
most of
idea.
the stuff in the med bay, if I'm not mistaken, is to stop your stuff from leaking out, right?
Doc will engage on this and say that is nothing compared to how people want to just go out and get stoned all the time. Let me show you. This is our conversation.
All right.
Okay.
Does Doc proceed to get stoned as part of the conversation?
No,
Okay. Okay.
but he shows. Look at all this stuff. This stuff will do up. Look at this. Anyway,
This is an opportunity for you to. Do you have is this your vice?
No. No.
It is mine though.
Character development over time.
All right. So Ken, you have 4 dice.
There you go. I'm spending my 4 dice. All right, so I'm looking for high numbers. I think, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Ooh, I got a 3, 2 6s, and a 5.
2 6s. All right. That is actually a critical. So you actually do that with increased effect. So you had a great effect already. So I'm gonna make a clock. I'm trying to figure out how to make the clock. I've got a little tool here that will allow me to make clocks. Shift. There we go. I'm gonna make a 6-segment clock for you to escape with, but I'm gonna immediately click 3 of them. For getting away from this mysterious ship. And you will also, because you got, because it was a risky, and you didn't spend a gambit, you actually have an extra gambit now. So you now, as a crew, you have 4 gambit that you can spend. So
Does just out of curiosity, does the gambit go away after the mission is done?
the extra gambit will, yes.
The extra.
So
Okay, cool.
every mission, Gambit will refresh to a base 2, and whenever your scoundrel's with you, your scoundrel gives an extra 1. That's her special ability. And so you start with 3 this mission, and then you just earned another one because you were risky and you got a critical success. So everybody kind of does the whole Star Trek, lean to one side as the ship takes off pretty fast and weaves and ducks through the clouds and around debris, and immediately after you start moving and start going through, Ordwell, you see on the scanner that ship is now in pursuit, and has actually fired at you, but didn't come anywhere near you, because of your speed and your juking and dodging. So it is definitely coming after you, and it appears to be faster than you.
Faster than me. All right.
If only you'd sprung for the afterburners, huh?
I think we can improvise that, right? Right? So look, all you got to do is like in Solo, right, where they put the raw.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Jagger, get out.
Why am I forgetting my
Push.
appropriate technobout? We need the juice. Give me the juice.
Nice.
That time when we went through the star, we need to do that again, but now and faster. And so I was actually just kind of like Googling this off to the side. Potency on all speed related rolls.
Yes.
So I think while we're coming up with the next, like, 'cause it sounds like this might be an opposed roll, my potency comes into play as a potentially important factor, but I'm honestly a little bit still figuring out effect.
They're actually, yeah. So, so the thing is there are no actual opposed rolls in this game, as far as I understand. So it's basically how well you do on your roll, but there are minuses to certain rolls based upon the quality of the people that you're up against.
Gotcha.
Does the attack pattern display two-dimensional thinking?
Nope. This one displays quite a efficient three-dimensional thinking, you think.
Yeah. How about four-dimensional thinking? We need to take a five-dimensional U-turn.
That's how you ended up bouncing through that star. So what is your plan to? Do you give up and surrender? You
Did we
keep running?
I don't have any visibility of this ship from where I am in the engineering. Like, I don't have.
I don't know. Do you
or anything?
I mean, that's the thing. Is like, do you? I mean, as you're the mechanic on this ship, you can probably have tied into multiple systems, and you probably have screens, monitors, virtual displays.
Okay.
Or whatever. It's up to you.
Would it be possible? Okay, this is going to be weird. It may end up being two rolls, maybe. Would it be possible to study the ship that is chasing us to see if I could recognize it, or any of its like schematics or weak points or anything like that, where I could then, I guess, hack into it to try to shut its engines down?
Yeah, I think that would be. That sounds a lot like kind of like a setup sort of action, where you're trying to you're setting up another character with your action, and if you achieve it, any team members that follow through with your maneuver get +1 effect or improved position on their next roll. So they're not going to get extra dice, but they will be able to improve certain things. So like if it was a desperate situation, you could drop it down to risky if you need, as part of a setup action, or have a greater effect.
Okay.
So you're bringing up your screens, taking a look, and trying to do some scans on whatever it is that's following you.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think you'd be using to do that? What sort of skill?
Probably study, just to try to dig through my own brain as I'm like looking at this thing from as many angles as I can to try to figure out what kind of ship it is and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I would say yeah, I mean that sounds good. Study or I think rig, but they're both the same for you. So
yeah, they're the same for me. So
yeah. Okay. So so you're studying it. So why don't you? So you're gonna have 2 dice.
yes.
You're in a risky situation, for sure. And
Should I upgrade that?
What do you mean by upgrade that?
Like make it a desperate to get a good thing? I don't know how I'd make it desperate though.
Well, right, for a setup action, you just need to succeed in order to give give that bonus to someone else.
I gotcha.
So I would say risky with standard effect is what you have. So yeah, you have 2 dots, so that's 2 dice. You can push yourself or accept the devil's bargain, and or you can spend a gambit, and someone can assist you if they want.
You guys okay if I spend that free gambit that we just got?
Go for it.
You know me, I need as many dice as I can.
I have confidence in you.
So are you pushing yourself as well?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Let's push myself.
So 2 stress, and that will give you 1, 2, 3, 4 dice so far.
4 dice. Come on, Twitch, you can do this! You can do this! Unless anybody else wants to assist, but I got 4 now, just to try to read this ship.
And I would say, I need to give you like what would happen if you don't, like if you fail or don't succeed. So I would say in terms of what happens, the sort of the consequence of it is, let's see. I would say that you're using some of the. Would you agree that you would be using some of the power that you've diverted to scan this other ship?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
At the very least, to pull up all these different view screens to get all these different angles.
Yeah, so then I would say that if you fail, then that other ship is going to get closer because you're pulling power from the engines.
Okay. I was going to say I may even intentionally slow him down so I could get a better look at it.
All right, so go ahead and roll.
All right. Oh no, I dropped one. I'll just re-roll it. All right. 6, a 4, a 4, and a 2.
Okay, so you got a 6. So you did use the gambit. Otherwise, you would have generated another gambit. But you did use the gambit. You do succeed. And so, yeah, you set up. You have discovered that it is. You haven't seen this particular design before, but the construction of the ship looks like it is a Sahir ship, which is a Xeno race that controls all of the Ansible network throughout the entire hegemony. They know how to construct Ansibles and don't let anyone else know how to use it, or they know how to use it, but they can't construct their own. You have no idea why one of their ships would be out here and shooting at you. But it is not. Normally, their ships look more like kind of boxy merchant ships, but the construction and the material that it's made out of remind you of the Sahir.
It's AT&T, and the box has got the schematics for the new 5G network in it. They don't want us to have it.
That's what's causing all the interference in the nebula. It's the 5G.
So, I think I got a beat on what kind of ship this is, guys. Yeah, I think it's a Sahir ship. And yeah, we may want to get out of here. They probably don't want us to have this.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. Thanks for figuring that out. I know their weakness. They can't do this.
It's upside down.
Yeah, like, fly inverted underneath the side of an asteroid or something. Or
So you're continuing to fly. I'll get back to you in a second.
Yep.
Professor, I'd say Jaeger, but Jaeger doesn't have a nose. Professor, you smell something. Oh, Jagger. Sorry.
Jagger, as
Sorry.
in Mick.
Yes. You have moves like Jagger.
Exactly.
Right. Professor, you smell. It smells a little like burning plastic, like a very faint whiff of burning plastic, coming from the cargo hold.
I shush Jagger, who's still talking about blood.
And then someone who's you've never seen before pops into the doorway of your med bay and say, "Hey, seems like you all are having a little bit of trouble with this. Anything I can do to help out?" He's a young man, like early 20s maybe, black hair, dressed pretty nice, and you have no idea where he came from. Except for maybe that box that you brought on board.
I look over at the box. Is the box open?
It's open. Yeah. The straps that were used to tie it down have been burned through by something.
Jagger, I look over at Jagger, look at the guy. Yeah, you know anything about the ship? I mean, if you can help us get out of the ship thing, but we came to pick you up and take you somewhere. Who the
Yeah.
hell are you again?
What's that?
Who are you again?
Oh, sorry. Where's my manners? My name's John Rye. And yeah, I need to get back to Warren.
Okay. All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let the pilot know that you're down here so we don't surprise him because he's skittish. And can you do anything about the ship behind us that's chasing us and firing on us? The ship with no guns?
I'm pretty good at with ship weaponry. What do you got?
That would be Jaeger. Jagger. Jagger's our ship weaponry.
We got the box.
Jagger, tell him what we got. What if we dump the box? What if we? Okay. I call up Ordwell. So Ordwell, apparently there was a guy in the box. Now the box is empty. What if we just dump the box, close it back up, jettison the cargo, keep the guy?
Jagger's like, wait a minute. Are we sure we're supposed to deliver the guy and not the box?
We are not sure. And that's a very good question and one that I wish I'd have thought of. But I'm guessing the box has less value than the guy, but I'm a doctor, so of course I would say that.
Second question, should I be punching the guy?
You should not be punching the guy, says John Rye.
Who said that?
John Rye says that.
Well, you don't get a vote. You're not on the...
You asked the question. I answered the question. The box is just it's a pressure box that kept me alive while waiting for you guys to pick me up.
All right. Well,
Drake didn't tell you that I was in the box?
No, he said not to look.
I did tell him. Sorry, that's my fault.
Why don't you step into my office over here so we can shut the... Actually, Jaeger, can you go shut the box and make it look like it was never opened?
Sure, yes. I could go and shut the box and make it look like it was never opened. Do you want me to climb into the box?
Why would I want you to climb into the box?
I don't know. I don't know why he was in the box. Maybe it's cool in the box.
I mean, you could... No.
I'll go check out the box. I'll let you know whether I'm going to be in the box or not.
All right. So I bring General into the bay and I begin to do the tricorder thing to make sure he's okay.
Okay.
And I'm still waiting for... I broadcast ship-wide, by the way, so everybody could hear what I was saying. to our pilot.
Okay. And so the pilot is now informed as well that we have an extra passenger.
There was a guy in the box?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Well, tell him to strap in. This is going to be fun.
Wait. We're thinking about dumping the box.
Sure. I could totally do that. I could do like a whirlwind sort of like spinny attack where we're like just time it just right and just send the box crashing into the thing
No. Or
that's
you could
chasing us.
Or you could fly straight and we dump the box, making him think that we're dumping the cargo, but we're not dumping the cargo. Follow me here. So they go to get the cargo, and you fly real fast away after we dump.
Hey guys, there's nothing wrong with this box. I don't see why you want to kick it out. It's a perfectly good box.
It's subterfuge.
It's a plan. It's a deception.
I mean,
I see what you're doing there. It's not
I'm
the box is a weapon.
There's anything else. Maybe there's something else cool in the box.
All right. Did Jaeger find anything else in the box?
As he starts to look for it, and as you're talking about, like, is there anything else cool in the box? General Rye goes, "Oh crap, yes," and starts to head out toward the box, and that's when Jagger picks up a kind of a long, almost scepter of white material, maybe stone. Who knows?
Not that.
Yeah, it could be a back scratcher. And you recognize that it is definitely some sort of artifact.
You forgot to shouting out my door. You forgot to mention it, huh? Forgot to say.
I did.
You were in there with the magic stick.
How hard is it to say I left my stick in the box?
Evidently pretty hard. Sorry. I mean, I didn't think you were going to jettison the box, so it didn't really matter.
I'm not convinced we should jettison.
I mean, if you say we're being chased, it does make a certain amount of sense to jettison the box. Just don't jettison the artifact.
Let's bring everything that's not the box into the med bay. We can lock it down.
Does he know what the artifact is and why we're being chased for it?
I think the question is, does the stick do anything?
Not that I know of. I mean, obviously it's going to do something, but I haven't had a chance to figure out what it did. If someone wanted to attune to the artifact, they could.
No.
Twitch just leaves the engineering altogether.
All right. Jagger is going to give the stick not to Jun Rai. Is it Jun Rai? Is that the name? Not.
Yes.
But to Doc. Because I don't know Jun Rai from Jun Jin.
Right.
So giving the stick to Doc, who I trust. And then Jagger will decouple the box and just like push it very noisily toward the rear hatch of the ship.
Okay.
Just it's dragging across the floor, just screeching.
Just kind of like pick up
chalkboard.
one corner, but let the rest of the box drag along the bottom, even though you have more than enough strength to lift the whole thing. I could
absolutely do that.
Okay.
Jagger is a humanoid Urbot, and if you imagine, he looks kind of like if you took the Boston Dynamics robot and just made him like upright and beefier limbs. He's humanoid, but not like trying to be human. And all of his limbs, all of the major joints on his limbs have near 360-degree of movement. So he can like twist himself into weird shapes and whatnot. So he could potentially carry the box on his back if he wanted to. But right now, he's a little miffed that we're getting rid of a pretty good box.
Got it. All right. So Junrai, the artifact, and Doc are all in the med bay. We've got Twitch comes running into the med bay through the cargo bay, and the box has been pulled very noisily and broadcast throughout the ship since that's been going on, like metal on metal screeching for a good 30 seconds of just constant fork on plate metal screeching.
right.
I'm getting the willies just thinking about it.
And then I suppose we're still trying to escape, right?
Yes. After our digression from the box, yes, I do believe we are attempting to get away.
Okay. I would say I think Ordwell needs to continue to fly. Are you gonna beeline it out of here? Are you giving up all pretense of stealth?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll find like the biggest thing I can fly towards to try and like get. My primary goal is getting away from them, but my secondary goal is flying towards a thing that I can use for cover. Right.
Okay.
So, we're going as like Comet out of Nebula, flying as fast as we possibly can.
Sure.
But
I mean, the Nebula was created by the destruction of an Ur ship that created a giant nebula with debris in it. So that is, you've got hard to navigate through plus stuff to hit. So
right. I'm aiming for like the nearest debris field to provide us with cover from the people who are shooting at us, because I feel like right now we're kind of out in the open. And
okay.
We should probably
so right now it would be risky with a standard effect, but Twitch gave you a setup so you can either change the effect by 1 or improve your position by 1. So you could change it to a controlled but standard, or you could stay at risky and go to a great effect. If you stayed at risky and went to a great effect and succeeded, I would say that you would successfully escape.
Ordwell will always go for, I think, risky.
Okay. And then Chris, you had a question, or you had a statement.
At some point during Ordwell's attempt to escape, Jagger is going to open the cargo bay door, which obviously has a force field to contain the atmosphere in the cargo bay while we're in deep space.
Okay.
And throw the box at the pursuing ship.
Okay.
Like at the pursuing ship.
Okay.
If I can't have this cool box, then I'm going to turn it into a weapon.
I would say if you spend a stress, you can give the assist to your pilot.
Absolutely.
Because that is a definite distraction for the ship that is pursuing you all.
Spending a stress.
Okay. So...
Oh, God.
So our pilot, I'm guessing you're using Helm on this one?
Oh, yeah.
And this is definitely a speed-related roll. So that would be 3 dice. You've got an assist for 4 dice. You could push yourself or Devil's Bargain or spend a gambit to get more dice if you need to.
I think I'm going to spend a gambit because we haven't actually touched our starting gambits because we earned the previous gambit, right?
Yeah, so you're at 3. You'll be down to 2. Yep. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So
I got 5 dice.
Yes,
this is
5
still
dice.
free.
And then you have 5 dice, and I would say with the risky, they have fired a missile at you, and if you do not make that dodge around that debris that you're heading for, it's going to hit, and your ship will suffer harm.
Okay, I got 5 dice. I think that should be good, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Piece of cake.
I got 2 1s, a 4, 3, 4, 5. I got a 5.
A 5. Okay, you do it, but there is the consequence. The shit you manage to make it right around the edge, and that you will successfully escape. However, the missile hits right as you're skirting around the edge of that debris. And shoot. Because the ship is a higher tier, so really you should have only had 4 dice, but you're still getting hit with a missile, so we're fine. So let's see.
We all got to make the we just took damage like
yes. But
Wait, I'll shake
more
your screen. Is that how we do
shake
that?
the screen a little bit.
Oh, we all just broke our monitors. Don't shake your screen. Don't shake your screen.
Yeah. So more
They broadcast
importantly, your ship has taken damage, which let's see if I can get there easily. Damage of ship is 162. Too many ones in this. 162. All right. So you're gonna take. I would say you're gonna take. This is the one part I'm not super certain on. You suffer harm. I don't know what the difference between harm and severe harm is. Let's just say you are suffering some harm. You got a 5, so it's not going to be horrible.
The ship survives, takes harm, or
the ship takes harm. The ship takes damage.
Gotcha.
And I would say the ship, given where that missile's coming in and how it's aimed, it is going to hit your engines. So you would take 1 damage on your engines. Now, as the pilot, you can attempt to resist that by having it bounce off of something, or maybe you juked just behind. This is how damage is. Damages automatically happens if you fail your roll, but you can then resist that damage that comes in.
So is that's a helm check again?
No, it's a resist roll.
It's a resist roll. Okay.
Oh yeah, it could be an attribute. Yeah, it would per attribute dot. And that is the question. This would be for the ship. So you have 2 quality for your engines. At least I'm assuming it's for the ship. So you would roll 2 dice to resist the engines being damaged.
Okay, Mr. Miller, did you have a comment?
Maybe it hit the box. So countermeasures are, right?
So,
I like that.
Yeah, right. So,
like flak.
because of Ace Pilot, when you roll to resist the consequences of piloting, you gain an extra die. So does that mean I get the 2 dice from the ship and then 1 die from piloting?
That sounds correct. Yes.
We'll go with that.
Okay. And then if I get a success, we don't suffer any harm?
No. You automatically will not suffer harm. What's happening is the harm will be reduced by 1. So you won't actually take the damage because it's going from 1 to 0. But the number, you being the one who's resisting the harm, would normally take up to 6 stress minus the highest roll of your dice.
Oh, okay.
So minimum the like if you rolled a 1, you will be taking 5 stress
and still fail.
No, you'll still succeed. You succeed.
Automatic success.
It's an automatic success.
Okay.
Sorry, if my highest die is a 1.
If your highest die is a 1, yes, you'll take
right.
on the 3 dice that you're rolling. So
okay, but I could push to get another die and take 2 stress.
No, this is just a resist roll, not an action roll.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So I got my 3 dice. Rolling my 3 dice. I got a 4, a 3, and a 1. So
okay.
4
So 4. You take 2 stress. So 6 minus 4 is 2. And you manage to I like the missile hits the box and explodes as you duck around that debris.
Thanks to Ordwell's excellent piloting, he manages to steer the ship as the missile is coming in right into the box.
Yep.
Nicely done.
And you lose them in the nebula, and have managed to come out of the yellowish stuff that comprises this area of the nebula, and see the normal stars as your nav systems come back fully and your engines are behaving like they normally do.
And in the cargo bay, Jagger yells to the pursuing ship to eat our ion trail. They probably don't hear him.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't even see them anymore. You have completely lost them. They're still somewhere in the nebula. So what happens now? Where are you guys going?
Where were we? So we're supposed to go to
Warren.
the Warren?
You're supposed to go back to Warren, which is where Abra Drake is. Okay. And
so that matches up with where we were supposed to take him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he wants to go where we were. Yeah.
I want to meet back up with. Junrai says I want to meet back up with Mr. Drake, and we'll get you paid. Nice flying.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
In the meantime, I guess, could I study this artifact since I'm in the room with it now?
Not my artifact.
Do you want to? Do you want to study it, or do you want to attune to it?
Attune to it.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Hold on. Doc is not just going to hand this thing over to the druggie.
So Twitch, like Doc, you've known Twitch for a little while. He hears weird wave voices in his head, and machines sometimes talk to him.
Yeah,
and he seeks that out.
Yeah, I get that, but it's not our stick.
It is not your stick.
I hand it over to Jen Ryan and said, "It's up to you, man. If you want to let this guy fondle this, the thing. It's up to you. It's your stick."
Is there?
I'm interested in knowing what it can do. Are you able to figure that out? I followed a map to the location in the nebula and was able to find this thing. So if you can, it was part of a precursor map if you can unlock it for me, that I'd be willing to pay for that information.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any potential for detrimental effect to Doc just laying hands on the stick, on the artifact?
Not in this case, no.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't messing with him.
Gotcha. Not that you've seen.
No, but Jagger does have questions for Junrai.
Okay. Well, he's here, so.
Okay. So I want to make sure that I get the timeline of events. You found the stick.
Yep.
And then a ship dropped you off in the box.
You want to know how I got in the box?
I want to know why the ship that put you here in the box didn't just take you to Warren.
That's a really good question. That is a very insightful and perceptive question. Yep. Really good, Urbot. So I went searching for this stuff. I came to the Astari Nebula, hooked up with some pirates here, paid them, found this location, and they were not willing to get me back. And so we made an arrangement. They through their contacts, contacted Drake again, and I got in the box, and they put me where you found me so that I could get picked up. They didn't want to leave the nebula. They didn't want to deal with any patrols or anything else like that.
And how long could you have been there before we'd be talking to a corpse right now?
I had a couple of days worth of air, food, and water. So I was okay, mostly. Yeah, it was a risk. It was a risk.
I think I want to get one of those boxes.
But you're a
I'm
bot.
very...
You're mechanical.
Not for me!
Oh, okay.
I just want to see it for science.
No, I know about science. All right, Doc.
You would be
away.
Doc, you would be a part of this science because I would need you to potentially make the person in the box not dead anymore.
I'm a doctor, not a box maker. I don't know what you Twitch. You were gonna attune to the stick.
let me quick change the subject.
So, if I may, while you guys are like having this conversation, Ordwell comes in. He's smoking one of his victory cigars. He's like hanging them out. Yes, smoking the cigar in the life support, like, yes, inside of a spaceship, but of course you would. And he just like starts handing them out. Like, that was great, guys. It's a great job. Just so are we gonna play with the artifact thing now? Great. Here's your cigars. Smoke up.
Hey, Twitch, I'd like to put these electrodes on you while you attune, just for science.
For science. There's a lot of science going on tonight. Yeah.
There's no science involved.
I tell you what, you could put whatever you want on my little noggin here, but
no, that's not where the electrodes go.
You got
Oh.
you got anything that could help me focus or could help me achieve that higher?
He goes through the cabinet that he was showing Jaeger earlier. He goes, take it. All right, and I give him a shot of a thing, whatever future Ritalin, whatever the.
Give me the drugs, man. Give me the drugs.
Adderall.
Okay. So if you want, when he attunes, if you spend a stress, that'll give him an extra die to attune.
All right, and I will take the stress. I also want to study whatever happens during the attunement.
Okay.
Checking out my brain waves.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, what's your intent behind studying it? Just like to better understand? Or
well, apparently we've got a reputation for strange, and we're going to be doing this more. So
you're studying the strange. Okay. I'm studying
the physiological response to the way.
Okay. We'll see. Like there are mechanics in here for like long-term projects and things like that, like during your downtime and things like that. This could be part of one. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah. So, Twitch, how do you open your mind to the way? Like, what does that look like?
First off, he just kind of like, as the doc is like giving him the whatever shot or whatever, he's like pressing it further into him to try to get as much out of it as he possibly can.
Grabs Doc's hand and pushes further.
Okay. Something a little harder.
You're not milking it. It doesn't work like that.
Then, he's going to basically sit crisscross applesauce style, holding the thing in his hands and just like kind of like stare and just kind of like move closer and closer until basically it covers his entire field of vision.
Okay.
And then just takes in that deep breath and just like, I don't know, gives himself away to it.
Okay. All right. So, and what you're trying to feel like a connection to it or connect to it yourself?
To it.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically trying to listen to it, I guess would be the best way of putting it.
Okay. So you've got your attune, which is 2 dice. You've already got someone assisting you. So you don't have to, that's an extra die. So that's 3. You can push yourself more. or you can take a devil's bargain.
Ooh, all right.
The devil's bargain means that you don't, you wouldn't need to spend the stress, but I would tell you something might happen in that sense.
And then the devil's bargain happens regardless of whether I succeed.
The devil's
or fail,
bargain
right?
happens regardless whether you succeed or not. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can also still spend a gambit. You still all have 2 gambit.
Okay. So I guess what would the devil's bargain be?
Let's see. I like this one. You would activate the artifact, but and in doing so cause some sort of collateral damage to the ship.
Oh.
Like the let me see. Let's see. I would say you would damage the ship's engines in some way.
Oh, it's the heart and soul of my job. Oh.
You could say no and just push yourself instead.
How many dice do you have already? And if you push yourself, don't take the devil's bargain.
All right, fine. I won't take the devil's bargain. I'll just push myself.
Okay, so
Yeah, I mean,
2
you're
stress for that.
You're getting,
I'm up to 5 stress now.
I'm assisting you, so you get another die there.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
I've got 4 right now.
2 for attune, 1 for pushing, 1 for assisting. You could, if you spend a gambit, you could get up to 5. But
And the gambit.
Sure. That'd be me taking 2 gambits, so it's up to you guys.
you have 2 right now.
Like,
Because I took 1 earlier, so.
do they? I forget. Do they reset at the beginning of the next one, or is this
They
like
reset
a
at the
resource
beginning of the
we'll have to
next
re-earn?
session.
You spend it.
All right, I'll spend it. So we got 1 left in case we need it.
Yep. You're not
For
through yet.
emergencies. All right, so that's 5 dice total. If I'm right, yep. Assist, pushing myself.
I mean, you
gambit,
do
and
say
then
you
2
roll like almost as bad as Will Wheaton here, so
Yeah. So let's. Although I've been doing okay tonight, so
Yep.
let's see.
Not anymore.
All right.
now that you said that.
1, 1, 1, 6, 6.
Nice. Critical.
Okay. Yes. So
So
luckily,
it's all or nothing. There
critical
was no
success. So you did spend a gambit, so you won't get an extra gambit, but I think you kind of needed to spend that one. Who knows? So you get an increased effect. So it goes from standard effect to what is it? Great effect. The artifact shifts and changes, not like a machine opening up, but it almost as if matter and mass comes from somewhere else, and it flattens out into a large disc, and light comes from the top of it and generates some sort of like hologram-like display that displays what looks like some sort of star chart of some sort.
Well, now we know where to find Luke Skywalker.
And you now know where to find Luke Skywalker. Exactly.
That bastard owes me $13.
Yeah. And Jun Rai is very surprised that you were able to attune this like this, and looks rapt at this hologram, kind of like taking in as much detail as he can. And after a moment, the disc kind of curls in and flattens upon itself and becomes that rod or scepter that it was before.
It wasn't anything interesting. Throws it over his shoulder.
Boring.
Jinrai kind of juggles it, lunges and to catch it and kind of juggles it in his hands for a little bit and then gets a good handle on it. It's like, thank you. I would definitely get you all a bonus for being able to unlock that. It was very, very useful. Thank you.
I take the electrodes off Twitch. Good job,
Okay.
man. Good job.
Yeah, you got some interesting readings there.
Yeah. Then I go lock up the drug cabinet.
Okay. That's important. Your trip back to Warren is actually uneventful. And you pop in and out of the flow of the warp and pop in at Warren again and have landed. But as you are on the streets of Warren with Jun Rai and this artifact, you are in kind of a less well-traveled area and let me get the description here.
Oh no.
It's Space Shark.
Yeah.
It's actually Luke Skywalker.
There are
He's everywhere.
the first thing you see is about like 5 or 6 people, but they're all dressed a little bit differently. But the one thing you do notice about them is they are all blindfolded. So there's 5 of them step out, and then a very tall, robed figure steps out behind them as well. If you think of, I'm trying to remember the ambassador's name from Babylon 5.
Tosh?
Yes. If you think of Ambassador Tosh, surrounded by 5 blindfolded humans coming out in a dark alley sort of feel. That's kind of the vision you see. And the one of the blindfolded humans steps forward, seems to know where you are. Being blindfolded does not seem at all to hinder this man, and says that and tells you to give up what you retrieved from the nebula.
The box
Jagger-
is gone.
Jagger extends an arm and then holds up a digit thusly and says, just 1 second, I need to check something. And then he just kind of pauses. It's like, okay, don't hit them if they're wearing glasses, nothing about blindfolds. And then just pops the guy.
Okay. So you're just going right at it. Just immediately
pop him.
Okay.
Oh boy. He's a muscle.
Yeah, so I would say this is a risky with the standard effect. That if you you just get into a fist fight.
It's a scrap, baby.
It's a scrap. I would say that given who these are, that they have weapons on them as well, that you will suffer harm if you do not fully succeed in this risky maneuver here. And right now it's just you in this sort of thing. I'm not sure how to run this because this is not D&D. So, but from what I can tell is what is you're popping him. What is your goal with this?
My goal with this is to make that particular blindfolded fella, let's say that, fall down.
Okay. So you just want to like take him out, take that person out.
That one, and then move on to the rest. The goal is to get them out of our way so that we can deliver the stick.
Okay.
Which is not the box, but apparently the mission has changed.
And definitely not diplomacy. Okay.
No, it's not very diplomatic at all.
Right. So, all right, you are the muscle. Yeah, I would say, yeah. So you're gonna scrap.
Let me say that the goal here is to take as many of them, if not all of them, out physically as possible, as quickly as possible.
I would say that would be a desperate to do that.
Okay.
And how do you? I think you're gonna have to figure out how to bump up from us, like if it's just you against this group, at least initially. Yeah. Let's just do standard because I'm not going to overthink it. We've done enough overthinking for tonight. So I will say if you succeed, you will definitely take a few of them down. You're not trying to kill them. You're just trying to take them out, right?
So that's correct.
If they die, they die. But you're not. Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
So just as a commentary here, I have as my starting ability. I went with I'm the muscle, so the starting ability is unstoppable. You can push yourself to do one of the following: perform a feat of physical force that verges on the superhuman. Engage a small gang on equal footing in close combat, which this sounds like that thing.
Yeah, okay, so if you push yourself to do that, I would drop it from desperate to risky.
Okay, so we're definitely
you have a chance for less harm.
Yep, taking 2 stress here because I'm definitely pushing myself.
But I don't think that gives you the extra die for the push yourself.
That's okay.
But it still drops it from desperate to risky, which is still better.
And my special ability is Wrecking Crew. My strength and ferocity are infamous. When striking in melee, I gain +1 die. Whenever I spend a gambit in combat, I may gain potency on that action. I'm not going to worry about the gambit because we've only got the one left. But I will say if you do spend the gambit, it would be a great effect. And I would say that you would single-handedly take down these 5 blindfolded humans. Do we want me to spend our last gambit on this thing? I'm going to throw it out there to the group.
Sure.
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's
Josh, put the resources down.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will spend our final gambit. So, my scrap is a 2.
Okay.
I am using Wrecking Crew, which gives me another die, and then I'll use our gambit to get me
one more.
The 4th die, which is gonna also gain us potency. So that's 4. I will open it up to anybody who would care to assist.
I could assist with the reasoning being, as a man of the world, used to wandering the world and being good with drugs, he has these little vials that explode into kind of a knockout gas situation, something that makes it for carbon-based life forms.
Gotcha.
And he will take one of those and throw it at the crowd.
Gotcha. So that would give you 5 dice.
All right.
And Doc, you're gonna take 1 stress for the assist.
I will take a stress.
Doc, I'm giving you the blue die here. This is the big blue die. So this is if this rolls a 6. If this rolls a 6, this is all you. All right.
If it rolls a 1, it's totally.
It rolls a 1. We won't talk about it now. For those who weren't able to read the very last minute description of Jagger that I posted on Discord earlier today, Jagger is lime green, bright neon green with bright pink and blue and red accents, kind of like somebody took a Honda Civic and just completely, like, all the ground effects and all of it just completely. Okay, so that's what Jagger looks like. And Jagger was actually designed to compete or redesigned to compete in what's called Boogie Bots, which is basically Dance Dance Revolution meets BattleBots.
Nice.
So when he fights, he literally dance fights. So it's going to look
I
like
love this.
some
Hold on.
crazy, spindly, spidery, lime green robot playing the most whacked out game of Dance Dance Revolution you've ever seen.
And do you
There's going to be
do the breakdance spin and kick people?
Whatever it takes.
Okay.
Whatever it takes. So we're rolling 5 dice with this ridiculous ballet of death.
You said he could twist into unimaginable.
Yes, exactly. Because his limbs just, like his elbows,
gets real
can literally
small,
bend
gets
all
real big.
Exactly.
Just pops in and out.
That's awesome.
Oh, shiz. All right. Well, Chris, your die got a 4. Which isn't
respectable.
I got a 5 and 2 1s and a 2. So we didn't hit a 6. But we got a 5 and a 4.
All right.
Best dice.
So the vial goes out shortly after the first punch is thrown. It drops a couple of them, but the blindfolded ones, the tall Xeno takes a step back as this fight is going on. Punches are flying, feet are flying. There's some sort of electrified swords or daggers come out and are stabbing at Jagger. But you did succeed. But Jagger is going to suffer some harm.
All right.
And so that is, you would be a level 1 harm. And so you have, let's see, harm. I would say, I would call that harm, stuck servos.
Right.
So you've like overextended them, or maybe there's they got hit with some stuff with one of the weapons, and they're gonna need some tuning up.
So I've got a couple of joints that aren't really
working the way they're
supposed to anymore. Okay,
your arm's just stuck like this.
Yeah.
And so like if you're gonna do an action that requires you to use something that would be impacted by stuck servos, you end up, since it's a level 1 harm, you would be less effect for that roll.
Got it. That doesn't impact this particular action. It's
correct. It's as a result of this action.
Okay,
yes.
Got it.
Yeah. So you end up taking them all out, all 5 of them out. They're all kind of rolling around, either unconscious, or some of them are rolling around in pain. Holding various body parts, kind of like at the end of the street battle in Big Trouble in Little China. Lots of people who are injured. The tall Xeno, however, raises a hand as you step towards him. And let me actually... It's a good question here.
And he begins to moonwalk.
Oh, it's on now.
No. You do let's see. Actually, Twitch recognizes what kind of Xeno it is. It is a Sahir. And Sahir don't talk. Not to you, not directly. They talk through what are called their echoes, which are humans who wear blindfolds. So,
how is Twitch even there though?
It raises a hand and puts its hand up, as in like stop fighting, and pulls out with its other hand, pulls out some sort of device, like and maybe an device, maybe one of the Sahir's own devising, and holds it out as if kind of like a tricorder, like it's scanning something. Does Jagger stop?
Yeah, Jagger's gonna assess the situation a little bit further and see what's gonna happen here.
Okay.
Against his better instincts or worse instincts.
Okay.
This is not what Jagger would expect a combatant to do. And so he's going to pause just long enough to let this play out.
This here definitely does not appear to be inclined to get into a fight with you. It kind of moves that device back and forth, pauses over Junrai and the artifact, and kind of looks at the device, and then slowly puts the device away, lowers its hand, and just turns around and begins walking away. And this is when Jagger goes up and punches him in the back of the head.
Jagger just turns around. Jagger just turns around and just says, "And that is how you do it."
What do you say we go get paid?
I'm willing to pay you. Yeah,
great. Let's
gotta get to Drake.
Let's get you to Drake. Let's get this done with.
All right. Couple minutes later, you're in Drake's offices. It's shelf after shelf of things that some things look like artifacts, but definitely are not. You think he might have some artifacts here, but really this is all like pieces of pottery or a fresco off of some building or something like that. So it looks kind of like a antiques purveyor, but you know from dealing with him before that he's got connections to get other things. He knew to reach out to you to deal with the strange. So he invites you in. Come. Let's get you all off the street. I see you opened the box.
No, we did not. The box opened itself.
Yeah, I opened the box. Jinrai points to himself. If you could pay them for my account with you, give them a bonus. They did an excellent job.
Hell yeah.
And I'll be off. So if you need anything, Mr. Drake can get us in contact if you like.
Sounds good.
And he actually slips out through the front door again. And we'll end that little bit of adventure there. And let's talk about.
Could we do a bio break before downtime?
That sounds like a great idea. I wanted to point out for everybody, I have not. I should have mentioned this earlier, like at the beginning of the game, but there's a lot to keep track of. One of the things for character advancement is entirely in your control as players.
Oh, I'm level 20.
So every time during the game session, every time you make a desperate action roll, you mark an XP for the attribute for the action that you rolled it. So like if you were in a desperate, if Jagger wasn't able to reduce it from a desperate to a risky with his ability, that would have been a desperate roll, and you would have had an XP. You would have been able to mark an XP on the prowess schedule section. So I don't remember if anybody had a desperate action.
I tried, but I couldn't get it up there.
Yeah. Did we have one? No, I think we had risky and great, but we didn't have desperate. Okay.
Yep.
So no one. So that's the only one that really happens during the session. So at the end of every session, you'll look at your sheet. Every sheet has different XP triggers. So each playbook has different XP triggers. So for instance, the muscle, every time you roll a desperate action, that's everybody. If you addressed a tough challenge with force or threats, that is an XP in your playbook or an attribute. That's your choice.
Okay.
All right. See, in mine it says if you face a tough challenge with insight or compassion.
Gotcha.
So then I'll be subtly different, I guess.
Yeah. If you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background, that's another point. Or you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during the session, that's another point. If that item occurred multiple times, you get 2 XP. So like for Jagger, you definitely addressed a challenge with force or threats, a tough challenge with force or threats right there at the end. So I would say that would definitely be an XP there. I would even
How much
say
of a challenge was it, though?
that is a good question. It's like, what is a tough challenge? I would say throwing a box at a starship would also count.
Does coming up with the
but that was part of an assist, though, right? It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, you addressed a challenge with force.
Okay.
Can I claim that I addressed the challenge with insight for coming up with throwing the box?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it's up to you, but I would say, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm going to take it. I mean, yeah. I'm not proud. There's no place to record your XP.
So there's on the right-hand side of our spreadsheets there's this thing that says playbook, and it's got a bunch of boxes. And then insight, prowess, and resolve also have a bunch of boxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the XP chart. So you'll mark 1 or 2 XP for each of those. And whenever that fills up, you'll either advance your playbook or you'll advance one of the skills under, like for you, if you wanted to advance your insight, if you filled up the insight meter, you would get another dot in your insight.
So do you put the dot in, like this, my thing was insight. Do I put the dot in insight or do I put it in playbook?
So for this, you pick. If you want it to go into insight, prowess, or resolve, you could put the dot there, or you could put it into the playbook. When you fill up the playbook, I believe you get another one of those special abilities from your playbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not muted anymore, am I? Okay.
No, you're fine.
So I was reading the playbook specific challenge. So the blah blah blah, right? Your playbook specific XP trigger is where that XP goes. So to address a challenge, blah blah, it doesn't matter. So I think if you used some, like mine is every time you tough challenge with speed or flare,
right?
Then I would mark that off in my playbook specifically.
I would disagree with you because the paragraph right above it says at the end of the session, review the triggers on your sheet. For each one, mark 1 XP, playbook or attribute.
Playbook or attribute if it happened at all. Okay, because then it says like.
But each, I think what they mean by playbook specific XP trigger is each playbook has its own unique trigger. So but the XP can go anywhere. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's basically up to the player where they want their character to get that extra XP. So if they want to specialize in one spot to bump them over.
Right. Gotcha. I agree.
So in order to be the least effective I possibly can, I will spread out my XP across multiple things to ensure that I never
that you
advance
never
in
get
any
up.
of them.
Yeah, that you
Right.
never advance. Right.
So, and I will justify that as follows: the the fight with the blindfolded guys. I'm going to put that in prowess because that was just sheer, scrapping. So that it makes sense that the throwing of the crate out, if we're seriously considering an XP for that one, that was a little bit more in service of the story as opposed to a feat of look at my awesome strength. So I will put that into playbook.
Okay. I mean, that's up to you. You can put them wherever you want.
Oh no, I have to justify it.
You have to justify. Okay. All right.
That's his vice.
And you may mark end of session XP on any attribute XP track or your playbook XP track. That's after the whole list as well.
Oh.
So they clarify it as
you're going to give us some XP. Okay.
Right.
That was all the XP. Like basically if you like your manufactured, labor, and stupor are your three pieces there, Chris. So if you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background, you could get an XP for that.
Okay.
Like if you express your heritage as a manufactured, you would get an XP.
I don't think I would go that far with this particular session. I think there's an opportunity to. No, we'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay. Like Doc, I would say that you could even say, like, I know you're. You didn't struggle with issues from your vice or traumas. Okay. Sorry.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
So
I know you have the.
Does immediately failing to it count as struggling? Because I was so ready to just snag those drugs and take them.
I mean, if you want to take the point, the XP. I mean, it does make sense. Mark XP for this if your vice tempted you to do some bad action, or if a trauma condition caused you trouble. Simply indulging your vice doesn't count as struggling with it. Okay, so no. Sorry. Asking for drugs from the doc and just getting it is not a struggle. You didn't struggle with it. Didn't cause a complication in the story, sort of thing.
No. Okay.
All right. So that is PC advancement. So I'm going to say that between Jinrai and Drake, they paid you 8 cred.
Ooh.
So that's 8 cred. That's a major job, enough to buy important, which is enough to buy important ship parts. Or each of you can get 1 cred with 2 creds left over that could go into the ship. If we're assuming that our scoundrel is still here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5. Sorry. 3 credits left over. If you give 1 to the scoundrel still.
I like getting a share.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll bring the ship creds up to 5. And then I don't know where to put creds on the character sheet. Anybody know?
Upper right hand corner.
Upper right. I don't know why there are 4 boxes, but
I don't know either.
Because I think there's a limit on how much you can actually have on you, and then it has to go into your stash. I could be wrong.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
how big are creds?
So there's upkeep though, for the ship, fuel and repair costs, minor patch jobs, etc. So your upkeep on the ship is, I believe, just a 1. Yep, your upkeep on the ship is 1, which means you would pay 1 credit to keep the ship up, to keep the ship flying. You can skip it, but that leads to bad things in the long run.
Yeah. Right. We take a risk of something breaking.
So are you gonna keep the ship fueled and patched up?
God, yes. Why would you not?
I would say
you have the creds.
Yeah, so that's going to leave us with 2 creds for the ship, right?
4 total, actually. You had 2. You had 2 from ship creation.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yes.
Still, and then so now you got 2 more.
Okay.
All right. So then, I would say you all now also have 2 heat in the Rin system because it was not smooth and quiet. It was contained, but standard exposure.
Okay.
So you got a little bit of heat going on, and I'll mark that here in the Rin system.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not
When you hit 8 heat, your heat resets, but you get a wanted level.
Ah.
So
when they start sending helicopters,
and that's
after
when they
us,
start
then
sending
we'll worry
helicopters
about
and
it.
stuff. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to make that 3 heat.
But just,
And that is because the...
As we littered, we threw a box out and we littered.
No,
We
well,
decked
it's
out a bunch of
not
blindfolded
that
guys.
you threw the box out and that you littered. It was who you threw the box out in front of. So the Sahir are, if I recall, a tier 4 group, which is a very high, well-connected group. So you're that target kind of upped your wanted level or upped your heat by 1.
making friends.
You
Ran
did
a
also
stop
punch
sign
their
in
guys
front
in
of
the
an off-duty
face.
cop.
So now
Yeah, that's a good question, though. I'm sorry, David.
So go ahead.
Do we get any additional heat for beating up a bunch of blindfolded guys?
I would say that's probably partly where it came from.
Or is it a reputation thing?
It's kind of a reputation thing as well. Right. I was gonna say that your reputation with
the Sahir, right?
The Sahir was gonna be neutral, but the fact that you beat up a bunch of this Sahir's echoes, I'm gonna say it's at a -1 now. So they don't like you quite as that. I mean, before they didn't even know who you were, but now they know who you are, and they don't quite like you as much.
I regret nothing.
And I do have a sheet here for it. Here we go. They are one of the weirdness ones. So, however, I will say that Jinrai, he's actually fairly well placed in the where is it? The Concordiate Knights. And so you're going to get a +1 on their status for them.
Sounds fancy.
It sounds fancy, but it's about as important as having it in with the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah. It wasn't that like they're not friends. They're enemies of the Acolytes of Brash Kadesh, actually, who you were also friends with. But I would say right now that hasn't gotten back to that you've helped the Concordiate Knights back to them. So you're still on the same positive note with the Acolytes of Brash Kadesh. So that's the ones you all called Bruce, just as a reminder.
Hey, Bruce.
So they actually call themselves Ashkad, are all their names. And you know 4 of the very top level acolytes of Brash Kadesh. There's Ashkad, and Ashkad. So you know all 4 of those.
All right.
So, all right. So you all didn't spring into existence just tonight. You have a complex history of favors, commitments, debts, and promises that got you where you are today. And so here's the thing. This leads to entanglements. So after payoff and heat are determined, we're going to see what happens. You are wanted level 0. Does someone want to roll a d6 for me?
You want me to? I can
go
do it.
for it. Come on, do it.
It'll be more interesting.
It will be if you roll as well as you normally do.
1.
Yep, that's what I was thinking was going to happen.
There it is. I knew my
Ship
luck.
trouble. A ship system acts up. Damage a system. I will tell you which. You may repair the system as normal, though you have to deal with the consequences of the damage at the time it occurs. So, entanglement can happen in flight between planets or systems, or on the way to or from a job. I'll get back to you all on that. Just so you know. And so I'll get back to you on that with, let me make a note here.
Found out you could get high on exhaust fumes from inside the ship if you pulled the right plug out.
Yeah. So one of your ship systems will have I believe the way that this is worded is it will have a point of damage that will need to be repaired. But it's not damaged right now. It's going to happen probably during your next job. You know, something you missed during standard maintenance.
Who should we blame for that?
That freaking missile.
And now downtime activities. So everybody has 2 downtime activities. You can pay for more if you want them. Each one costs a cred, but you can acquire a temporary use of an asset. You can craft something. You can indulge your vice. That's how you get rid of. That is how you can get rid of the stress that you have. You can lay low, which is you can help reduce your crew's heat and wanted level by hiding in another system for a little while. You can start a long-term project or continue it. You can recover, which if you've got some harm, you can recover. You can repair something, which right now you don't have anything to repair yet. Or you can train. When you spend time training, you can mark 1 XP on the track for an attribute or playbook advancement. I will say, as the ship Stardancer, if you train in Insight, you will get 2 XP for that. Yes, Chris.
Question about crafting. So, Jagger has noted that it sure would be nice if we didn't have to be up in the cockpit, since our pilot seems to avoid it, to be aware that there is another ship in proximity. It'd be great if we didn't have a cargo bay to physically notice the ship there. So it would be, would crafting be like, how about if we have panels that give us proximity alerts in the cargo bay and in the med bay and in other places of the ship? Or is that just something that would be like a project that we could have our mechanic working on? Or how would you like to go with that?
Crafting is like crafting a device that you can then carry around with you all
That's
the time.
kind of what I thought. But it feels like
I would say
a very minor improvement to the ship, but not like we just improved the hull quality, right?
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't be something along the lines of repair, because like you spend credits to repair damage, and that's not what we're looking for. I would say you could either spend a craft. I would say you can spend craft and have that as part of your from now on you would be able to. Are you saying you want to basically notifications and screens throughout the ship, kind of like in the Expanse, where you can be in the like the med bay and bring up the external sensors and cameras?
Right. I'm not saying we can pilot the ship from the med bay, but we can kind of access like scanner systems and get alerts and stuff wherever we are.
Sure. I would say if you're willing to spend one of your downtime activities to do that,
I will absolutely
you can certainly do that.
Use a downtime activity for that.
All right.
You have a damage too, though, right?
He's got harm.
I'm gonna be doing some vicing.
Well, you have harm and you have stress.
Yeah.
So a recover gives you
Riley
harm
crackers.
back, gets you your harm back.
Well, I guess I'm keeping the stress then.
How many stress do you have right now?
I have 3 stress right now.
Okay. You got stress to burn.
How many stress do you get rid of when indulging your vice?
It's a die roll.
It's a die roll,
Oh,
and it is entirely possible to overindulge.
Right.
I'm gonna need your help when I OD, Doc.
No, my vice is actually working at the free clinic. So,
Right.
Could
So
be a tired
overindulging might mean that you work at the free clinic extra hours and stuff like that, more than you normally would. There's a consequence for overindulging, which we can get into if it happens.
All right, so I'm going to roll for that then. What is it? I roll D6, obviously.
Yeah, so if you indulge your vice, we're going to go here. So you're going to work at the clinic and help out those perhaps less fortunate people.
Yes.
Or okay.
Yes.
So it's 1 die per lowest attribute rating. So your attribute rating is for your stitch is those the X's in the dots. So you're gonna have 1 die.
1 die. It's a 6.
So you clear 6 stress.
Well,
how many stress did you have?
I clear 2 stress.
Okay, so you overindulged.
Like
so if you try to clear stress and clear more stress than you have, that is when you overindulge.
Maybe it doesn't make any sense to clear this stress.
Okay, if you don't want to, that's fine.
All right, yeah, I'll skip it. I have 2 stress. I'll keep it.
Okay, if you ignore your vice, so there is a penalty for ignoring your vice, but no one has any trauma right now, so you can safely ignore your vice.
Okay, then I think with my downtime, I'm going to start a long-term project.
Okay.
Since I've got someone who will willingly attune to things for a small shot of drugs and let me put electrodes on them.
Why am I seeing Egon Spengler and Ralph Moranis' character? Yeah, Rick Moranis' character.
He's going to study the physiological effects of the Way and artifacts.
Okay. We will discuss the implications of that long-term project once I think about them some more too. We'll talk about it.
And then he's going to train.
Okay. You can mark 1 XP for an attribute or a playbook advancement, but also note that you all have the Stardancer, which by default comes with training insight, which means that as a crew upgrade, you can get an extra, I believe that is an extra point into insight.
Okay, so I'll get 2 points into insight.
Yes.
When I fill up that bar, I can bump one of my insight.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Cool. Then I am done with my downtime, sir.
All right. Who wants to go next?
And you've been quiet.
I'll note I have hedonist. So when I indulge my vice, I may adjust my dice outcome by +/-2. I don't know if that's up to +/-2. An ally who joins me may do the same.
So if someone goes with you to indulge their vice with you while you're indulging your vice, they can gain the benefit of the hedonist stuff.
Yeah,
where are you going?
We go out on the
use it.
So my dice, my my vice is pleasure. So I think I come back and I'm just doing all the things like bar crawl, bungee jumping between the bars. It's going to be terrible and awesome. Try an assortment of legal and perhaps less than legal drugs. He does all the, just like the.
If you're
the
doing
Sparse
drugs, I'm
organ
totally there with
experiences.
you.
It's pleasure, it's like mild type things, right? Like, oh, here's this, Pangalactic Gargle Blaster, right? Like, of course you're gonna have one of those after a nice heist.
Yeah.
I know a guy too. I've got my black market dealer. I'll get you the
Yeah.
good stuff.
So then we would both roll. So each of us can. So we don't have to spend cred for this, right? That's just if you wanted to do additional downtime stuff.
Yes, you have 2 free downtime. You have 2 downtimes that you can take.
Right.
If you want more than 2, you have to pay cred.
Okay, so I am going to roll my d6. I got a 6, which I'm going to modify down to a 4 because I can do that, which takes away all my stress.
Okay. All right.
I am.
And did
also
someone go
going
with?
to- Yeah, I totally
You went
with.
Okay. So go ahead and. So remember, you are rolling the lowest. So as the pilot. Yeah, your resolve is one pip. In there, so that's the die you rolled. But if your resolve went up to 2, your minimums are 2 dice at that point.
Gotcha.
So now we have our mechanic.
So wait,
you have a prowess of 0. So the way I believe that works is if you don't have the dice, you're going to roll 2 dice and take the lower of the 2.
Okay. And then I get to plus or minus this. How much?
Up 2. Up to 2.
Up to 2. Okay. A 5 and a 2, so I'll up that to 4.
Okay.
And drop down to 1 stress left.
Okay. All right.
Because I had 5.
Yeah, so you've both taken a downtime activity. You both indulged your vice. Ken, what's your second downtime activity?
I'm going to train,
Okay.
and I'm going to put Pip into playbook.
Okay. And Chris or Josh, who wants to
Go ahead, Chris.
indulge?
So I am not going to be indulging the vice. I've already spent 1 downtime on the craft to give us the status monitors, etc., shipwide. The second thing I'm just going to do is recover, and because I only have automatically removes level 1 damage, you really only have to do like the doctor stuff if you have additional damage. Is that correct?
Yeah. So when you're, let's see. When you recover, you seek treatment and heal your harm. You might visit a doctor who can stitch your wound. Roll crew quality -1 to see how available and effective the doctor you can hire is. Or if you have a doctor, they can roll their doctor instead.
Well,
it won't take your.
So wait, our crew quality is 0, right? So you'd be rolling a -1.
Let's see. I think your crew quality is 1 by default, but maybe it's.
I thought we didn't put anything into it because I was
I'll
scared
need to
because
look
you
that
need
up.
that.
I'll look that up, but I mean, you have a doctor, so Chris, if you could, crew member can roll their doctor action instead. Yeah, so if you can roll 2 dice,
I can roll 2 dice. A 4 and a 3.
Okay. I'll look it up more, but let's say it's only a 1 level 1 harm, so I would say just clear it for now. I'll look it up if there's more to it later.
Yeah, because it says when you've received treatment from the recover action, clear all level 1 harm. If you have harm remaining, advance your healing clock according to your recovery roll. So the roll doesn't impact whether you clear all level 1 harm. The roll is determining, healing more advanced types of harm. The fact that you took the recover action at all clears the level 1 harm, basically.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Like if you had taken a level 2 or a level 3 harm,
We'd have to make a healing clock, and
you would still have that harm, but then I think you rolled a 4 or 5. You would mark 2 wedges on the healing clock. Mm-hmm. It's a 6 wedge clock.
Yep.
And then once all those wedges are filled, you clear all the harm that you've suffered. But if you have to go out on a mission and you suffer harm again, your healing clock resets, and you suffer the harm, that's painful.
It doesn't sound pleasant.
No.
So, but net effect here is cleared my stuck servos.
Yes, you can then erase that. Yeah, so everybody has 2 slots for a level 1 harm, 2 slots for a level 2, and 1 slot for a level 3. And then if your 2 slots for a level 1 harm are taken, you suffer a level 2. And if you were going to have to suffer a 3rd level 1, it's not a level 1
automatically. It
becomes
bumped up to a level 2, right?
Yeah. And if you go from a level 3 harm to a level 4, you suffer a trauma, I believe.
Oh, that's right, trauma.
And 4 traumas, and your character retires.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, traumas are permanent. Actually, I think if you suffer a level 4 harm, that might kill you. We'll have to look it up. It's not about it. Yeah. It doesn't matter today because we're not anywhere near that. So craft and recover for you.
Done.
All right. And Josh, what's your second downtime action?
Well, that kind of depends because I don't know if I got any XP or not. And if I didn't get any, then it's going to be to train.
Well, you can still train as well. So as the mechanic, in terms of that, did you address a tough challenge with technical skill or ingenuity? I would say you did with when you were working. Me personally, I would say you did that when you were working in the engines and rerouted power so that you guys could escape. That would be a point, I would say.
Okay.
We already talked about you did not struggle with your vice. You just indulged it during the thing.
Just indulged it.
And express beliefs, strifes, heritage, or background. I don't know.
No, not really. I didn't think. Studying the ship wasn't technical, or I don't know if that was ingenuity or not, but that was basically me just studying the ship, right? I mean, it wasn't really. That was my assist, but I don't know.
I think that would probably fall into the tough challenge. I don't know that was a tough challenge.
Okay.
Ish.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will take my second action.
But it's also up to you. So again, I mean, this is the first game. There was not a whole lot of quote unquote tough stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm perfectly willing to let you guys. I'm not going to stop you guys from taking XP if you think you did what it's asking.
I'm gonna take my second action then to train.
And in what?
We'll just go.
If you go with insight, you'll get 2 XP because you have that crew.
I really want to because that's where all of my big stuff is. Yeah, I'm gonna train in insight.
Okay.
Woohoo! So 3 in insight.
All right. So you've got problems with your ship systems that haven't yet reared their heads. And I believe that is it for this evening. You're not in debt. And it's 10 o'clock. So why don't we go ahead and end it here? And and then we can talk about what sort of jobs and such you guys might be offered next week in our Discord over the next week or so.
Okay.
Cool.
I also wanted to talk to you about possibly starting up a project next time too. So
gotcha. Let me go ahead and stop the stream here. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. Checks out layersecrets.com or on Twitter, Layer Secrets. And of course, if you're watching us here live, then you already know that we're on Twitch, Layer of Secrets. So, and if you aren't watching us live, you're probably listening to us on the podcast. So thank you and have a good day, everybody.
Bye.